All right, guys. Today we are gonna be reacting to Andrew lectures, feminists on what men really think. Let's jump in, folks. Let's see what's going on.
If somebody wants to be a trad wife and it works out for the family, then that's cool. But it also like if somebody's gonna be doing all of that work, like all the house cleaning and such, like they need to be provided for. And I think that
Let's definitely get back to that.
in society now it's harder because things are so expensive for like every family unit to do that. Like typically, women have to work too in the family, and I just would hope in a perfect world nobody would be putting all of the responsibilities on one person in the family.
Okay.
Maybe we can just jump in now. It seemed like, Andrew, you wanted to, you had something on this? We can just jump in now?
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure I get the position down. So if the woman's staying at home, she should be provided for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that look like?
It looks like taking care of the house, taking care of the meals.
No, her being provided for. What does that look like?
Oh, well, provided for
Yeah.
financially, like what
Well, women will kind of often tell me there's like a trope, right? They go, well, if I'm staying at home, I'm cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids, basically, right? And I drive them to school, and when they have a toothache and when they're sick, I take care of them, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I get all that. What's the expectation for being provided for, though? What does that look like?
having everything you need and never
well, what is that,
stressing
though?
out about it.
Everything, yeah, but what is that? When you say need, does that mean like a bowl of gruel a day because that sustains you?
No,
what does it look like?
Living happily, like being able to have all of the things that make somebody comfortable,
Comfortable.
Yeah, to live in comfort, yeah.
Okay, so you think that if you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, you should live in comfort?
You should have the things you need and some of the things you want, yeah.
This really doesn't tell me anything. So you say you should have the things you need. Okay, need's a very subjective word, right? What do you need? You need to sleep, you need to drink water, you need to eat food.
You need gas, yeah.
Yeah, you need stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. You need those things. But when it comes to comfort, luxuries, things like that, what are the expectations there?
Have extra money, I guess. I mean, if somebody's not to be working and they don't have an income, so they're taking care of the house, right?
Okay, but like some girls expect all the bills paid plus their nails done and their hair done and like their upkeep. Is that what you're saying?
What are your expectations, in other words, for being provided for if you're staying at home?
If that's the agreement between the two.
Well,
then
what are your expectations?
Well, hang on. Before we get to me, can we finish on the inquiry here? I'm just curious. The statement is, I stay at home and should be provided for. I'm not disputing that. I'm just trying to figure out what that means. What does it mean I'm being provided for? Does that mean my food and board is taken care of and that's it? Or does that mean I get my hair and nails done X amount of weeks, I have my own account, he puts money in it, I get an allowance? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, like being able to have some extra spending money, I guess.
Okay, those are your expectations?
Yeah, being able to, like when you're working, you can buy bigger things, like a car, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not a job to stay at home.
Should he buy you
it's
a
a
car?
Responsibility in a sense.
Yeah, should he buy you a car?
No. I mean,
Why
unless
not?
I need it and
Oh,
he's
okay.
working and can afford it. But
All right.
if I don't need it, then, or want it, I
Okay.
guess.
And it also differ from couple to couple.
Yeah, I'm just
because-
trying to figure out a standard, because the standard here was, if women stay home, she should be taking care. It's not just her, right? It's just women in general, right? They stay. So I'm just trying to figure out what she thinks that means.
Be provided for financially in needs and wants.
And wants.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, where do we draw the line on
I
wants?
feel like
Well, yeah.
Hey,
sorry,
they're
I
trying-
feel like
they're
a good
trying- they're
comparison
trying-
to make.
See, you see how they're trying to defend her? They're trying to save her because she's just getting. Oh man, I just don't like that. Don't like that. But then again, we're learning from this, right? A lot of these videos are good for this. We're learning some behaviors here. The hero syndrome, right, is something that women cannot really hold themselves. They don't like to see other women be in a position of, let's put it, the uncomfortableness, right? Being uncomfortable, being in a position of being down. They don't like to see that. That's why the Russian lady here, I don't know if she's Russian, I'm just saying this, right? Russian in the red, trying to jump in. lady on the blue here trying to jump in, and little emo 2012 girl here trying to jump in. There's a lot of things here going on that is so much information. This is what I call the hero syndrome. They like to save each other.
And I hate to make this comparison, is like how you would like take care of your child, like kind of like buy them clothes, like buy them, give them the funds to do that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's kind of
treat
like
your woman like a child.
No, I don't think you should treat her like a child. I think that you should like when it comes to like doing the necessary funds for them, I think that's a similar kind of like.
Yeah, but what is necessary? What does that mean?
Well, what do you think it means?
Well, I'm not making the claim.
I don't know.
Well, when you were
So
talking
I'm not
about
making the claim. So the thing is
necessary, I guess, would mean like if you want to talk about needs, like food, shelter, water, housing.
I get those. I grant all of those are needs.
And then I think that if a woman isn't working and she can't provide for herself, then the man should probably take care of everything else. I mean, there's
Oliver wants.
well, also hair and nails. Sometimes
I guess
the
what I'm
husband
getting at
wants
is
that.
like who ultimately makes the decision on who provides what if the man is
They
working.
make the decision together.
Yeah, what if they can't agree?
Then they shouldn't be together.
I
Oh,
agree.
great.
Or go to therapy.
Wow.
Find someone you're
Whoa,
compatible with.
You fixed it.
Simple fix.
Awesome. What if we can't agree? Then get the fuck out of here. Great. That's awesome.
Well, no, but I think this should be discussed at the beginning of a relationship
Because
too.
people don't have things which come up in relationships they disagree about all the time, even after they've made an agreement.
But you can
before
mitigate
the relationship.
But you can
right?
mitigate the risks
How?
by speaking about it ahead of time. That
Sure.
doesn't mean that nothing will come up to change.
Right. So since we know that
so then how do we
there's
answer
gonna
this
be-
easily?
Well, here
we're
I'm
accounting
not
for a bunch
looking
of.
for an easy answer, right?
So then, are we discussing just the initial?
We're discussing all
Who's
of
going to
it.
be happy
Hang
at
on.
the end of this?
Hang on, let me answer to this. We're discussing all of it. So let's
Okay.
start with this idea. You have children, right?
Yes.
Doesn't that change the dynamic in a relationship?
Maybe to some extent.
To everybody, it's going to change
in
the
regards
dynamic.
to like finances.
No, just in
general, yes,
behavior.
yes.
Just in behavior, period.
Yeah.
It's going to change the dynamic, right? Now you two have to agree about another life too, not just your own.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm talking about is a threshold breaker. Where do we get to the threshold breaker? Where do we get to the point where, like, kind of tying it back to what you said earlier, Andrew, I can't believe you fucking monster that you don't let your wife have a say in anything. And it's like, well, okay, one, that would be absurd. But two, I'm giving you a great logical reason why right this second. What happens when we hit a threshold breaker? We can do one of two things. We can do what you do and destroy our entire family because you shouldn't be together.
That's not what I was. Okay,
or-
dramatic.
Perhaps.
drama.
Well, hang on. How is it dramatic? You said they shouldn't
No,
be together.
but I
That's
was,
dramatic.
No, I was
Why does it
speaking
have to
off
be
of
the
basis
man?
of first meeting? Not
Right.
like
So
once
this
you're in a
is this is the
relationship.
question, right? You say why does it have to be the man? Well, the woman staying at home. You're saying that you women have wants that are not necessities. I want things that aren't necessities. So, who makes the determination she gets what she wants? Her? If she's relying on the money from the man?
I mean, that's actually fair if that relationship has that dynamic. I guess that would be, but I like, again, going back to like what I was saying before, like I think like this is like a relationship, like by relationship basis, like it depends on the relationship. Like for you, that might
we're
work.
entailing the relationship right now.
So
which
do you
is
want
the
us
woman
each
staying at
to
home.
answer individually?
Okay,
'Cause,
yes.
Like,
So I agree in this
so
situation.
we're entailing the relationship right this second. We're saying in this
It's
relationship.
all, you know what's that I notice also? It's always about what the woman wants. How you guys notice this conversation always go to what a woman want and never what a man want? Interesting. Never about the man's wants. Never.
The woman staying at home. The man's providing not just for what her needs, but for her wants as well. So if he's providing for needs and wants, plus, like, for instance, she might have all sorts of frivolous shit he doesn't care about. Guarantee you, in fact, he does. Right? Okay, you're going to spend money on that frivolous shit, fine. Guarantee you that there's going to be plenty of things that a woman gets that he literally does not give a shit about. Right? That's not really even going to be up for debate. That's going to happen. So if that's the case, right, who's the threshold breaker? Who gets to be the ultimate symmetry breaker, the decision maker when the two people
if
can't agree?
he makes the money,
Yeah.
I think from the onset of a
you
relationship,
know.
if a woman's looking for something that's a lavish lifestyle, then she should be targeting a man who's going to provide that lifestyle, and you can't expect that out of somebody who is not living that life. So, like, if you're a blue-collar guy that might not be making as much as, you know, a Saudi prince, then if she wants a lavish lifestyle, then she should not be going for that blue-collar guy.
Yeah, while I agree that that's true, I think that this is scalable. So
He's saying, like, what if he, like, loses income or something, then how do you adjust? The point he's trying to get to is that if he makes the money, ultimately he gets to decide
But,
what
like-
it's spent on.
Yeah.
To
Wait, is
summarize.
that even?
Well, I mean, one, I would agree that yes, that's true. But also further, I take it one step forward and say you actually, because there's only two people who are in a relationship, right? Unless you're a fucking weirdo. But normally you have mommy and you have daddy, absent blue-haired Coomer gremlin. So ultimately, I would think since there's two, you guys are going to have a disagreement at some point. Somebody has to be the decider. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to be the one who breaks the symmetry, right? I don't see a way around that. I've never seen a way around it.
What if you had like a random
No, I
number
agree.
generator?
What's that?
What if you had like a random number generator and you like flipped a coin?
Yeah, okay, so let's say you flip the coin and you still disagree.
Well, you have to go whatever the coin flips.
You don't have to do shit, right?
Well, I mean, if that's the agreement,
Well,
you
then
do
you
have
can't
to
really
do it.
definitively debate this.
Yes, you
with
can
so many
definitively
variables.
defend. I'm sorry, wait a second. People don't change their mind all the time, constantly, consistently.
Well, if you're agreeing to flip a coin and whichever side it lands on, you go with that. Then if you go back on that agreement, then that relationship isn't going to work.
I suppose that two people could agree to flip a coin and wherever it goes, it goes. But I think that would be a really bad way to
Yeah,
decide
I agree,
disagreements.
it would
One,
be.
but two, I still think that would create more problems than it would help.
It would, but I also think like when you say that the man should make the decisions, like how do you have conversations with your wife then? Do you like tell her what you're going to do or do you ask her first? Like
Well, I think like
About-
any healthy relationship on planet Earth, we have discussions about what we want to do.
Okay, so you
why
take-
we want to do those
yeah.
things. However, right, if there's any impasse, I'm just going to decide. And there's many times.
Can you
where
give me like an example of like a time where you had to put your foot down?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time, especially with raising kids.
Okay.
Right? All the time, nonstop, especially when it comes to discipline, things like that. where
Okay,
I'm like,
that's fair.
Okay, you want this to happen, I want that to happen. I don't fucking care. It's going to happen this way.
Okay. I see.
Very
There you go,
simple,
stand
right?
your ground.
Very easy. So
Stand your ground.
wasn't
That's so
really an
important what he's saying right now. And it sounds simple, but it's not simple, right? Standing your ground is so important. What he's saying is something that a lot of guys in this space don't understand. Chest tests are never going to stop, guys. It's never going to stop. And this is gonna sound kind of weird. Chest test is just the way of the women making sure that you still have your ground. That's what it is, guys. You want to put a stop to it, of course, or minimize it, but it's always the female trying to make sure you are that man. If you lose those chest tests, man, it's gonna get worse. But it's never gonna end, folks. Some of these guys are saying, as soon as you just give me chest tests, I just break out the relationship. Naive. You cannot be naive. That's not how it's gonna work. A chest test is always gonna happen, even with the female that is, non-toxic. Is always gonna be there, always. Because females are emotional, guys. Females are just emotional. They have to let some of those emotions go crazy. But, the longer you deal with that chest test, of course, it gets better. It gets much better. Less fights, less burst and all that stuff when, things get leveled down. But at the beginning, guys, you have to be ready for it. You have to.
Example though, was it?
yeah, that's a great example. Discipline. I don't want discipline to happen, or I think maybe this is too harsh, or even this is too light. We have a disagreement on that. It's a perfect example of where, okay, I'll just be the symmetry breaker. Okay, ultimately, I'm going to make the choice. And I think that that's actually necessary.
Yeah. Honestly, I see, like I said, I don't think that it works in every relationship, but like for me personally, like I don't like making decisions, so I like having that in my relationship
I think
too.
when there's a
Like,
good balance of masculine and feminine energy. If the man leads, it allows women to sit in their feminine, and that's what we're so desperately missing right now in this country. Like, it's actually sad. I mean, I grew up with a single mother for the most part,
plenty of feminine
and
energy.
I think
Yeah, exactly.
no, I think that for the most part,
From men.
Yes, I'm agreeing.
if we had
Not from women, but from men.
if we had more of strong relationships and nuclear family, then women wouldn't be forced as much to work on their own as much as they are, and they'd be able to rest more in their feminine. So I think it's kind of a
That's why I'm
co-joined
voting
issue.
for Kamala, to try to get back to that strong.
You mean fraudulent?
What do you
Fraudulent
mean?
femininity?
You don't like that I'm voting for Kamala?
Hey, to each their own. I'm not the
I
one
mean,
making the
she's-
vote.
Are you actually?
He's
Okay, I was like,
He's trolling. He's trolling.
All right. So clip it.
I was like, maybe there's some sort of like, I don't know, like reverse psychology or something in voting for her.
No. She said that.
I knew.
She has, she like works for a senior Trump
Oh,
advisor.
yeah.
So I thought that would just
That makes sense,
introduce like pressure for no particularly good reason. But anyway, so back to this. Yeah, I think this will always be the case. I think anytime you have two people, or what you'd say two consciousnesses, which come into contact, they necessarily try to dominate each other no matter what. No matter what. I don't care what the circumstance is. Something like that is occurring. So since I think something like that is always occurring, I don't think it's any different in a relationship. And one of the personalities is going to have to be dominant.
Cooking, man. He's cooking there, man. I'm telling you, he goes to, when he does the Andrew over 9,000, he's right in the money, man. Right in the money. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next one.